last time you read a poem? At school, perhaps. Maybe you've listened to them at weddings or funerals. But for most of us, poetry isn't really part of our everyday lives. It's beautiful but remote, an old master hanging behind bulletproof glass. But I want to convince you that poetry is a living thing, that it should be an essential part of your life. Finding the right words in the right order, as Coleridge put it, can give shape to your own feelings. It can change your life forever. And nowhere is this more true than when you're in love. So the poems I've chosen in this series reflect on love in all its forms, from love at first sight to the moment when your children leave home. Some are classic, some are brand new, but I guarantee that at least one of them will make you shiver with recognition. So let's start with one that always makes me tingle all over because it summons up that moment of intense excitement and anticipation when you're about to meet the person you love.
The grey sea, and the long black land, and the yellow half-moon large and low, and the startled little waves that leap in fiery ringlets from their sleep as I gain the cove with pushing prow and quench its speed in the slushy sand. And a mile of warm sea-scented beach, 3 fields to cross till a farm appears. A tap at the pane, the quick, sharp scratch and blue spurt of a lighted match, and a voice less loud through its joys and fears than the 2 hearts beating each to each.
I defy you not to be thrilled by that moment of full-on Victorian passion from Robert Browning. But don't worry, the poems in these programmes aren't just for the champagne moments in life. There are poems for the dry spells too.
There is an island in a far-off sea, well hid, for to divulge its latitude were treason, where 2 in swallow flocks, and silently single men migrate in summer season. The millions of single men, having fled all year, come to this island, utterly exhausted, murmur a brief thanksgiving upon the pier, then breakfast on peanut butter and a chocolate frosted. They tell male stories in the idioms of all nations, listen to ball games on the radio, hear minstrels celebrate the consummations of remarkable business deals. They never go away from this sanctuary till the season's sped. In summer hotels all over the world, the sad single girls wait in vain for the one, solvent, personable, unwed, who might, but never does, arrive on the next train. Ladies.
It's not just single men who prove elusive, as Chilean poet Alvaro makes clear in this wry little poem.
She was on the tube. I got on at Charing Cross. And like every day, she didn't look at me. I even had a green velvet suit and a yellow bow tie. To make myself even more noticed, I dyed my hair really red. And I hope tomorrow she'll give me a glance. It's my very last chance for the long weekend.
It's funny how many poems about looking for love end up using public transport as a metaphor. I suppose it's because waiting for Mr. or Miss Right and waiting for the number 23 bus are both instances of hope triumphing over experience.
Bloody men are like bloody buses. You wait for about a year, and as soon as one approaches your stop, 2 or 3 others appear. You look at them, flashing their indicators, offering you a ride. You're trying to read the destinations. You haven't much time to decide. If you make a mistake, there is no turning back. Jump off, and you'll stand there and gaze while the cars and the taxis and lorries go by, and the minutes, the hours, the days.
But waiting is for wimps. If you want love, you've got to look for it.
It is silly, this waiting for love in a parlour. When love is singing up and down the alley without a collar.
There are books, magazines, TV programs stuffed with advice about how to make yourself irresistible to the opposite sex. But take it from me, poetry is a much better guide to ensnaring your prey. Take Siren Song by Margaret Atwood. The sirens were mythical creatures, half bird, half women, who lived on a rock in the Mediterranean. Their song was so sweet that anybody who heard it was drawn inexorably towards them and a watery grave. To be a modern-day siren, all you need to do is to make your listener feel special, unique. Help me, only you can. But remember the moral of the poem. It's not getting what you want that matters. It's wanting what you get.
This is the one song everyone would like to learn. The song that is irresistible. The song that forces men to leap overboard in squadrons, even though they see the beached scards. The song nobody knows, because anyone who has heard it is dead, and the others can't remember. Shall I tell you the secret? And if I do, will you get me out of this bird suit? I don't enjoy it here, squatting on this island, looking picturesque and mythical with these 2 feathery maniacs. I don't enjoy singing this trio, fatal and valuable. I will tell the secret to you. To you. Only to you. Come closer. Go on. This song is a cry for help. Help me. Only you. Only you can. You are unique. At last. Alas, it is a boring song, but it works every time.
I'm sure any modern day Saren is sending text messages as alluring as this one.
I wait for your message. The beep. Your words of rude love. You make me blush with the curve of your letters. You touch me through my palms, my eyes.
As you might expect, poets lead the field in verbal seduction. Shelley wrote this poem, Love's Philosophy, when he was trying to get a 17-year-old girl to go to bed with him. Amazingly, she said no, but then he was married.
The fountains mingle with the river, and the rivers with the ocean. The winds of heaven mix forever with a sweet emotion. Well, nothing in the world is single, all things by a law divine, in one another's being mingle. Why not I with thine? See the mountains kiss high heaven, and the waves clasp one another. No sister flower would be forgiven if it disdained its brother. And the sunlight clasps the earth, and the moonbeams kiss the sea. What are all these kissings worth, if thou kiss not me?
The best example of a poet trying to talk his lover into bed is from the 17th century. To His Coy Mistress by Andrew Marvell is a wry look at male frustration. The metaphors get increasingly baroque as he tries to persuade his lover that even desire as great as his has a sell-by date.
Had we but whirled enough in time, this coyness, lady, were no crime. We would sit down and think which way to walk and pass our long love's day. Thou by the Indian Ganges side shouldst rubies find. I by the tide of Humber would complain. I would love you 10 years before the flood, and you should, if you please, refuse till the conversion of the Jews. My vegetable love should grow faster than empires, and more slow. And 100 years should go to praise thine eyes, and on thy forehead gaze. 200 to adore each breast, but 30,000 to the rest. An age at least to every part. And the last age should show your heart. For lady, you deserve this state, nor would I love at lower rate. But at my back I always hear time's winged chariot hurrying near, and yonder all before us lie deserts of vast eternity. Thy beauty shall no more be found, nor in thy marble vault shall sound my echoing song. Then worms shall try their long-preserved virginity, and your quaint honour turn to dust, and into ashes all my lust. The grave's a fine and private place, but none, I think, do there embrace.
Notice the ominous note at the end of that poem when Marvell makes the connection between the short-lived nature of human desire and of life itself. At his back, he always hears time's winged chariot drawing near. It's the kind of link that poets make all the time. In this next poem, it's gentler, but it's still stressing the importance of seizing the moment.
What spiteful chance steals unawares wherever lovers come, and trips the nimblest brain and scares the bravest feelings dumb? We had 1 minute at the gate before the others came. Tomorrow it would be too late, and whose would be the blame? I gazed at her, she glanced at me. Alas, the time sped by.
How warm it is today,
Said she. It looks like rain, said I.
Remember, it's always the ones that get away that stay with you forever.
Strephon kissed me in the spring, Robin in the fall. But Colin only looked at me and never kissed at all. Strephon's kiss was lost in jest, Robin's lost in play. But the kiss in Colin's eyes haunts me night and day.
We all know the rules of the dating game. Smile beguilingly, never answer the phone at once, and never admit to being free on a Saturday night. But if you want the ultimate romantic strategy, then this poem, Advice to Lovers, is for you. The way not to get hurt is not to care in the first place. Well, at least that's what the poet says. But my feeling is that he's being ironic.
The way to get on with a girl is to drift like a man in the mist. Happy enough to be caught. Happy to be dismissed. Glad to be out of her way. Glad to rejoin her in bed. Equally grieved or gay to learn that she's living or dead.
In the early days of a love affair, the telephone can be an instrument of torture. The American poet Maya Angelou gets it absolutely right when she says the telephone can chaperone your life.
It comes in black and blue, indecisive beige, and red, and chaperones my life, sitting like a strict and spinstered aunt, spiked between my needs and need. It tats the day, crocheting other people's lives in neat arrangements, ignoring me, busy with the hemming of strangers' overlong affairs or the darning of my neighbor's worn-out dreams. From Monday, the morning of the week, through midtimes, noon, and Sunday's dying light, it sits silent. Its needle sound does not transfix my ear or draw my longing to a close. Ring, damn you!
Of course, you don't have to wait for the phone to ring. You could make the call yourself, but then you run the risk of being rejected.
Never seek to tell thy love. Love that never told can be. For the gentle wind does move silently, invisibly. I told my love. I told my love. I told her all my heart, trembling cold and ghastly fears. Ah, she doth depart. Soon as she was gone from me, a traveller came by. Silently, invisibly, he took her with a sigh.
We all know that hearts are made to be broken, but we all think that we're the exception. A. Husband points this out in this wonderful poem from the Shropshire Lad.
When I was 1 and 20, I heard a wise man say, "Give crowns and pounds and guineas, but not your heart away. Give pearls away and rubies, but keep your fancy free." But I was 1 and 20. No use to talk to me. When I was 1 and 20, I heard him say again, "The heart out of the bosom was never given in vain. 'Tis paid in size of plenty and sold for endless rue." And I am 2 and 20, and oh, 'tis true, 'tis true.
First love can be a dangerous thing. It's as if we drink a hormonally fueled love potion when we hit puberty, and it can set our emotional course for life. 19th century poet John Clare first met the love of his life, Mary Joyce, when he was 12 and she was only 8. He wrote this poem 30 years later when he was locked up in a lunatic asylum. But it's amazing how loudly you can hear the heart of that 12-year-old boy thudding through the lines.
I ne'er was struck before that hour with love so sudden and so sweet. Her face it bloomed like a sweet flower and stole my heart away complete. My face turned pale, as deadly pale, my legs refused to walk away, and when she looked, what could I ail? My life and all seemed turned to clay. And then my blood rushed to my face and took my eyesight quite away. The trees and bushes round the place seemed midnight at noonday. I could not see a single thing. Words from my eyes did start, they spoke as chords do from the string, and blood burned round my heart. Are flowers the winter's choice? Is love's bed always snow? She seemed to hear my silent voice, not love's appeal to know. I never saw so sweet a face as that I stood before. My heart has left its dwelling place, and can return no more.
I first read He Wishes for the Cloths of Heaven by W.B. Yeats when I was 14. And I remember wallowing in its sumptuous self-pity. Like most teenagers, I was always spreading my dreams under people's feet and having them trampled upon. So I know it's the perfect poem to read if you're unhappily in love. But whatever you do, don't read it aloud to somebody else. It's a poem to be sobbed over, alone.
Had I the heavens embroidered cloths, enwrought with golden and silver light, the blue and the dim and the dark cloths of night and light and the half-light, I would spread the cloths under your feet. But I, being poor, have only my dreams. I have spread my dreams under your feet. Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams.
This poem really is essential reading for anyone suffering from unrequited love. W.H. Auden uses the stars as a metaphor to measure the distance between him and his lover. But in the end, he embraces his plight and says, "Let the more loving one be me."
Looking up at the stars, I know quite well that for all they care, I can go to hell. But on Earth, indifference is the least we have to dread from man or beast. How should we like it? Were stars to burn with a passion for us we could not return? Oh, if equal affection cannot be, let the more loving one be me. Admirer, as I think I am of stars that do not give a damn, I cannot, now I see them, say I missed one terribly day. Were all stars to disappear or die, I should learn to look at an empty sky and feel its total dark sublime. Though this might take me a little time.
There are times when you can begin to lose hope that you'll ever find someone that you can truly love. But this poem that you're about to hear is the answer to all those doubts and misgivings. The Ithaca that Cavafy refers to is the island that Odysseus spent 30 years trying to get back to after the Trojan War. But as Cavafy points out, the secret of success in life and love is not reaching a destination, but enjoying the journey.
As you set out for Ithaca, hope your road's a long one, full of adventure, full of discovery. Keep Ithaca always in your mind. Arriving there is what you're destined for. But don't hurry the journey at all. Better if it lasts for years, so you're old by the time you reach the island, wealthy, with all you've gained along the way, not expecting Ithaca to make you rich. Ithaca gave you the marvelous journey. Without her, you wouldn't have set out. She's nothing left to give you now. And if you find her poor, Ithaca won't have fooled you. Wise as you've become, so full of experience, you'll have understood by then what these Ithacas mean.
We're launching a nationwide search to find a poem for Britain. Could you write the New Jerusalem? If so, check out our website at bbc.co.uk/poetry, or you can write to us at BBC Poetry Competition, PO Box 38859, London W12 6WG.
Tomorrow, Wild Nights of Essential Poems here on BBC Two at 8 o'clock.